to bring some book from his professor's house. So I went there, and the lady said, he is in his room, go there. And I went into the room, and I could not see anybody, and suddenly I have seen some smoke coming out. And this is the professor sitting in the armchair and smoking a cigar. Heaps of books there and heaps of books there. And I went to him and said, my father asked me to bring some book like this. He said, you can search that book, it should be somewhere here, you can take it. And it took half an hour for me to search this. So very disorderly.
But not moving.
No moving. It doesn't move. So that is what you find. And also, if you advise him to clean, you have to take shower, you have to clean a sulfur person, then he is not happy. He will tell you many things to avoid this.
Purity should be for the soul, not for the body.
He says, now I am not feeling well, I am not able to move. Or if you insist, you say, if you corner him, then he say, can you say that everybody who is cleaning is good? So like this, he brings his logic. He avoids. And or he says, suppose he is a student, he says, I cannot waste my time, I have to read my lessons for prepare myself. I cannot lose the time for going and having a shower and all this. So like this he can find some excuse not to take a shower, not to clean. Because he is not convinced about cleanliness. That is the reason.
He doesn't feel well either.
He doesn't feel well.
Yeah, there is also the next symptoms will come. If he cleans, his skin symptoms aggravates.
Yes,
Yes.
that is
Cannot clean.
that is also there. So if he does not feel well by cleaning, but minimum cleaning also he is not. He
No
doesn't feel.
inclination.
He doesn't feel. If he is dirty, he doesn't mind. If he is very chronic sulfur patient, he will not even change his clothes. He can wear the same cloth continuously day and night without changing. The cloth may be torn on his body. Yeah, I know such persons who can wear without changing the cloth. They can be for 1 month or 2 months like that. You cannot imagine sulfur. And if we feel the smell, but if you tell him this smell where it is, he will deny everything.
He's constantly in his cloud,
Yes.
so it does not feel.
His smell is cloud.
And this is mostly all the symptoms equal for men and women,
Yes, it's the same.
except the menstruation
Yes, all the
problems.
symptoms are equal. Man or woman, it makes no difference. Because these are the symptoms on the higher plane.
Yeah, yeah.
If it is
There's
just only in the
there's
body,
no sex.
no.
Mhm.
The mind
Yeah,
and the intelligence and higher planes.
yeah, yeah.
So there is no difference.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
This is the so-called gender balance.
In children also, for example, if you observe the child, if the child, some children, for example, if there is slime coming out of the nose, the sulfur children will not allow you to clean.
Clean.
Yeah,
He will swallow it.
he can swallow it. Yeah, in sulfur. Children of sulfur, definitely you find this children of sulfur swallowing it. Yeah. He will not allow you to clean. If it is a child of arsenic album, it is exactly opposite. If it is arsenic album child,
He will not touch and he will ask his mother.
if there is slime, mom, slime. You see, he does not want to touch also. He's very like this. So he wants urgently his mother to come and clean immediately. He is on the other extreme.
Then you have brothers and sisters. One is sulfur, one is arsenic.
Brothers and sisters, okay. Husband and wife are like that. It is very difficult.
Difficult, yeah. Even brother and sister, it's difficult.
Yes, husband and wife must be awful.
Very often.
Especially in India because they don't know each other before they get married. They cannot choose.
So this couple there that was married by master, they were cured
They
before.
were cured
They were
before.
killed before,
Master
yes.
cured them before and then.
He's
Got
a
them
good
married.
master.
But mostly the cases in India now also, mostly the cases who have chosen themselves the so-called love marriage, they suffer more.
They suffer
Suffer
more.
more.
Yes.
Not from arsenicum and sulfur or
Yes, maybe because
Maybe.
they are attracted only on physical plane and not knowing all these things. And
Yeah.
after getting married, then they will come.
Then they work it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it appears that they are in love, but they are not open for everything.
They think that they speak about love.
Yeah.
Love and attraction.
Yes. So
They
it is.
have their karma bringing them.
Yes.
Yes.
In the same house, if you have one arsenic album, one sulfur, and one anacardium,
Then the civil war starts.
then the civil war will be there.
Yeah.
And if there is among them, if there is a pulsatilla fellow, then he will be a scapegoat.
Yes.
Will be
What
what does it
Pulsatilla?
mean?
Pulsatilla.
He will
Everybody shows their anger upon him.
Yes, it's a target then.
His target.
Book
Yes.
and then he will cry in his.
If he is armed, then he will commit suicide.
Yeah, if he belongs to Aurum Metallicum,
He will cry.
then after some years he will commit suicide because he gets.
And he will be killed by an anacardium or
No, he will kill himself.
he kills.
Suicide.
Yeah, if there is a legacy sartoja, they make a person to kill himself by their influence, but nobody knows about it.
They will never commit directly. They will manipulate the other person to commit suicide.
Tuya.
Yes.
Yeah, Tuya very dangerous.
Very eminent.
Tuya is very polished.
Manipulating.
Yes, very polished. You cannot identify a Tuya person.
Never. He will be in high position, and he will be like guiding many people,
He will be
but he
like-
kills
Like
many
Kumar,
people.
in a way. Like Kumar. No, sorry. It's my interpretation.
No, it is true, but we cannot say that.
Sorry. It's not politically correct.
Out of record. Out of record.
Non, je crois pas. Non.
Out of
C'était
record.
avant Riquier. Avant qu'il y ait
This can be controlled by me.
quelqu'un
Because
malade.
So the Tuya people are the people in power who
Yeah.
manipulate others.
Tuya,
and
the
never-
Tuya person is very difficult to. Outward they will appear like very
Serious, very serious.
serious, very pious, very
Yeah.
great, and all these things. But
Very generous.
they can observe the people who are against, who are not according to them, and then from the back they can.
They have always two networks. One only social network, they appear very good, and when they have some persons who they influence by mind, and then they make them to kill.
That's all politicians. In all politicians, what they do,
Yeah.
the cold murders and all these things. They don't commit any murder, but they can manipulate. They can manage that the other person is destroyed, without being known.
Mm.
So that is what you see now in political field.
Yeah.
Anybody who is opposing to his thing, then after some time he will disappear. So that is
Yeah.
example for Tuya. Yes.
Yeah. This is absolutely true.
That is what you feel, you see now very much. So this is also, so this about cleanliness is absolutely in sulfur. You cannot convince this person because he is convinced that cleanliness is not so important. That is the reason. And another thing is, when he is in the bed to sleep, that is also another big disaster for a sulfur person. When he wants to sleep, when it is on the bed, he cannot sleep because it is too warm for him. So he wants to avoid such a bed with foams and with sponge and foam. That will be very too warm for him. So if you ask him to lie down on the hard bed, due to the
Roughness.
rupture, then his back becomes rough and red and burning. That is also difficult.
So he has to, what is hanging out there? Am I?
An hamac, no?
No, what is where the people are in?
Handy mat. Yes.
They have to sleep in
Oh,
Yeah,
but
no.
then also
that,
these strings,
the
The
pressures.
string will do
pressure.
the same.
The pressures,
Will be
yeah.
put the pressure.
Uh,
Very painful. Very painful to sleep in that.
yes.
Very painful.
So it is difficult for him. And so frequently also, because he gets burning sensations during night also, he has to frequently put cold water on his feet and his hands because he feels this burning. And another also what you find his tendency in sulfur person is he always avoids to take up any responsibility. He keeps away from any responsibility. And sometimes for the chronic person of sulfur, sometimes in the morning when he wakes up from sleep, he finds that there are some eruptions on the upper lip with little pus and burning. And if he touches this, it is more painful. Also, another feature what you find in the constitution of sulfur is he is not able to take up any little weights also, because if he lifts any weight, suppose if you give him a bag to carry for some distance, then he feels he is exhausted, so he cannot. He feels like
So he
Yes.
cannot hike
his hands is cramping,
with rucksack and so on.
his
Cannot
legs
hike.
are cramping, hands are cramping, and feels as if he is falling.
So he is not a hiker. Okay.
And also, if he keeps on talking continuously for some time, after that he feels very much exhausted, and then he feels as if he has no sleep for many days.
Mm.
You can observe him like this. He feels very exhausted, like this, and then if suddenly you see him, perhaps he has no sleep for many days, like that he will feel. He is so
Mm.
weak very quickly. And also, he has also another tendency during sleep. He gets often cramps, cramps in the feet, cramps in the some muscles during sleep. And also, he gets very fearful dreams, nightmares. Of course, there are other remedies also, but sulfur, mostly his sleep is always
Mm.
disturbed either by the cramps or by the burning sensations or by nightmares. So he never has a good sleep, really. And also many times in the morning when he wakes up, after waking up, he feels, oh, somebody has come in the night when I am sleeping into my room and went away. Like this he feels.
Mm.
He feels like that. Strange feelings. So either dreams or such feelings. So some sort of disturbance he always has. His mind is not tranquil or free from disturbances. And frequently he feels heaviness in the body. He always feels heavy. This is also a tendency in sulfur. This also you find in Bryonia also. Roostocks, Bryonia and these persons, but sulfur, very often he feels his body is very heavy, but not heavy by weight,
Mm.
but his feeling,
Mm.
he feels very heavy. And even if he works for a little time, he feels very quickly tired. That you find also in Nakswamika.
Mm.
A person of Nakswamika
So
also,
they are not engaged in any kind of sport, these people.
they cannot.
They cannot. Mm.
If you make them,
Mm.
if you push them,
Mm.
then they can very quickly get tired and
Mm.
sick and all this.
Mm.
They are not fit.
Indoor games.
Only sitting games, sitting in the chair and
Chess.
video games
Chess.
or chess.
Chess games.
Yeah, chess games.
Poker games.
Yeah, chess games mainly.
And
Because he did not move hours and hours just thinking and moving the things. The body need not move in chess.
Yeah, yeah. Only the hand.
Only the hand and thinking and thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the most suitable for game for them. Or the video games.
Yeah, you don't even need to think.
What?
Video
Video
games.
games, you don't even
you
need
don't
to
even
think.
need to
Video games. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now many children are addicted to this.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes. We play. We spend the whole Saturday
Oh,
and
yes.
Sunday to play.
And during daytime also he feels sleepy, a sulfur person. He feels drowsy, sleepy. But if he wants to sleep, he cannot sleep.
Mm.
He feels sleepy, drowsy, dull and all this. But then if you advise him to sleep for some time, he wants to sleep, but he cannot get sleep. And many times a chronic sulfur person, during sleep he is always gets startling. When you have some fear, you will be like this, nervous. So like this, many times during sleep, you find the sulfur person disturbed in sleep like that.
Is that also what they call apnea, when you wake up because you feel like suffocating? They
The,
call it apnea.
That is, you have different remedies. For example, in lecasis also, he suddenly wakes up, and in lecasis he feels strangulated.
Yeah.
It's as if his throat is strangulated. But in sulfur it is not feeling of strangulation, but some sort of, due to some sensation, some sort of sudden jerk, with that he wakes up.
Because there is one diagnostic fashionable now, that is what you
This
say,
is what
is
they have.
sleep apnea.
They say apnea.
And the people don't sleep well, so they
Uh-huh.
feel very tired all the
Uh-huh.
time, because when they go to deep sleep,
They s-
suddenly they stop breathing. Then they don't breathe for 30 seconds, and then they have to wake up in order to breathe.
That is typical of lecasis.
Like as if,
Ah.
because there are they diagnose many people with
Ah.
this, and they put
I
them,
got this, yeah.
and they put some
Machine.
a machine for
Oxygen.
them to breathe, to push the
Ah,
But I
Ah.
cannot use this machine. I tried. Makes me.
Yes, it's terrible.
I
if you have to
cannot.
sleep with a machine
No, I
on
cannot.
on your face.
I could
A lot
not.
of snoring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's strange.
that is
This
mostly in lecasis.
like as is.
Yeah, because in lecasis, person sleeps into aggravation,
Uh-huh.
and when he gets into sleep, it's terrible aggravation,
Yeah.
and the main feeling is strangulation, as if
But they
strangulated.
really stop breathing.
And
also?
stop, yes.
breathing.
Yes, yes. But you cannot give like as is like this. You
No,
must
not like this from the other symptoms.
You have to see if there are some
Yes.
other.
Yes,
Separation.
maybe
Also, you
lecasis.
cannot give sulfur on basing any one of the.
No, no,
Yes,
that's, no, okay,
yeah.
that's because it's a strong medicine like as is.
Yeah,
also, I
because
think.
it's a very strong medicine.
Because I know people like this.
So this is about the constitution of sulfur. What so far we have seen a total picture of how will be the constitution of a sulfur person. So the next study is about how will be the mental symptoms, how will be the modalities, because modalities means the conditions of aggravation and amelioration. That is called modalities. So for any remedy which we have to select for any person, we must have at least 2 of the mental symptoms.
Mental symptoms. Yeah.
Generally, without mental symptoms,
Yes.
except in acute conditions,
Mm.
without mental symptoms we cannot administer
Yeah,
the remedy.
Mm.
Mental symptoms are very important.
Mm.
Mental symptoms, modalities, and
Causation.
causation. These 3 are the important factors to decide a remedy. Because sometimes causation is very strong factor.
So now once again,
Mental symptoms,
yeah.
modalities,
Modality.
modality. That means the conditions of aggravation and amelioration. That is called modality. And the third is causation.
Causation.
Causation. What was the cause?
Yeah.
Sometimes
In the history of the patient.
in the history of the patient.
Mhm.
For example, in a particular person, after the death of very close person, then suddenly he has a shock, and then he develops all the symptoms. So in this example, causation is very strong. So we have to consider this. So like this, we have to consider for selecting a remedy,
So there are peculiar symptoms for each.
and also the peculiar symptoms.
If peculiar symptom is strong, then we can go and inquire about past things about this.
And because there are some symptoms which are very characteristically peculiar only for that remedy. Such symptoms are also there. So if you find this symptom,
We
you
confirm.
can try to find out the other symptoms of the remedy easily.
Because
like-
patient cannot say all the symptoms, then we can get it by these peculiar symptoms if we observe.
For instance, you have some instances of peculiar symptoms.
Yeah, for example, carbovage has internal very much burning and suffocation,
Uh-huh.
and he becomes blue and he cannot resist heat. He has craving for fanning. He has blowing of wind always.
Mm.
If we see these, and we can inquire about other things, and we
Yeah.
confirm. And we do.
So you
Or
had
these symptoms, I remember Master when he said, when you look into the fire, you sneezing,
Yes.
sneezing when looking into the fire. Huh?
and also another, for example,
What
I
is
will
it,
give you
this?
best example for peculiar symptom.
Uh-huh.
When you are on the height and looking down
Ah, yes. Mm.
and you
Not
feel
in that
anxious and you will not go back. You feel anxious but go more and more
You are
Feel
attracted to.
attracted.
This is
That is typical of Argentine
Yeah,
electrical.
yeah. And the sneezing in the fire, what is it? If there is fire?
Sulfur?
Yeah, if you're looking in the light of the fire
Mm.
and having sneezing, it's not a peculiar symptom? I remember Master spoke about this.
I know of
You don't
looking into
remember?
the sun to sneeze, but
Mm.
looking
I
into the
I
fire.
think he spoke when it's fire, but maybe I missed something. You don't have any
The fire no.
looking at or sun?
Sun, yes.
Sun we have glonine,
Chlorine is there.
Glonine? No, it is not glonine.
epis.
In
Belladonna.
Epis also.
Nothing with arsenicum?
No, arsenicum is not.
No, nothing with
like that.
light or...
Arsenicum has internal burning like coal.
No, but
Looking into the sun.
and having some reaction and looking at the light.
That is no, that is not arsenic album.
Maybe it's too far.
But you have very typical symptoms in certain remedies.
Mm-hmm.
So from that you can also identify. So now we
Okay. Thank you very much, Ananda, for this.